Hello everybody and welcome back to LMM, and if you're enjoying what you're seeing on the channel at the moment, how about giving this video a like and maybe subscribing to the channel to help us grow, and perhaps even check out our Patreon. It is a glorious day here at the Whitwell and Reefham Railway, full of liquid sunshine straight from Wales. Yes, it's just like that. Many of you will have seen the video that came out recently talking about the pretty bad week that I had last week and the implications of that. And so as a direct result of that, I'm going to introduce you to 15 of my favourite videos and photographs I've taken of railways throughout the years. So with that, let's jump straight to number 15. We start off at the Churnet Valley, not because it's the most aesthetically pretty shot that I've ever shot, but rather for what it contains. Here are two S160s charging up the bank towards Ipstone, and I am a big fan of an S160. Their sheer brute power is intoxicating. On the back of the train, there is a third S160, because this was the first time in preservation in the UK that three of them had worked together, which meant that this shot had to be included in my top picks. From here, we head over to the Vale of Rydal Railway. Loz and I got invited to the opening of a brand new museum at the railway, and as part of the day, we got taken up on a train ride along the line. I got permission to fly my drone alongside the train as it made its way up the side of the valley, and as I was flying, I was watching the screen going, wow, this is incredible, and it remains one of my all-time favourite drone flights of all time, with some absolutely stunning footage. The only slight downside was that the drone didn't make it to the other end of the line, and I had to make a landing halfway up the railway and then walk down in the rain to recover it. The first of my photos is one of the ones that I'm most proud of, and also one that a lot of people took a photo of me doing, because in order to get this picture with the mill pond reflection of the two locomotives going over Victoria Bridge on the Severn Valley Railway, I had to wade into the middle of the Severn. I was stood there up to my chest with the camera held aloft above the water to get to this picture, and a lot of pictures came out across the internet of who is this idiot stood in the middle of the river and what was the photo they got. And to be honest, for the effort and for the very unpleasant drive home of being soaked through to my underwear, I actually think this one was totally worth it. I am a big fan of an industrial locomotive, and at the Chasewater Railway, getting to see Hastings, the oldest surviving standard gauge Hanslet, being put through its paces was absolutely superb. And it's not because of the visuals of this video as much of the sound. Hearing this thing really working was superb and shows what an industrial locomotive should be doing, pulling a load of wagons up a gradient, making an incredible noise. This was absolutely terrific. Long-time viewers of the channel will know that I really love Polish steam. I've been out several times to Wolsztyn to see the locomotives working there, and this clip isn't particularly visually stunning, nor is the audio that special. However, this means a lot to me. The PT here was the first engine that I got to ride on the footplate of in Poland, and the first big engine that I got to fire. And this was its last steaming, and we didn't think that it was going to get overhauled. So as it sat on the turntable with that long whistle, it was like a farewell. And genuinely, every time I watch this clip, it stirs something in me and I get a little bit emotional. So this is a clip for me rather than for you, but you know, enjoy it. Staying with the theme of being on shed is this shot taken from the Severn Valley Railway's Bridge North shed during one of their autumn galas featuring all night running. This particular picture was taken between 3 and 4 in the morning as a mist was rolling in, and it gave this incredible atmospheric shot that I've never been able to replicate. Lots of people hate the bright lights that have been fitted to the shed, saying that it ruins the ambiance, but in the fog it just looks superb, and I am so proud of this shot. You can almost pretend that it's back in the day and this was a real steam shed getting ready for the day's activities. Keeping with the theme of under the cover of darkness, me and the chaps headed off to the North Norfolk Railway to see their train of lights and stumbled around in the complete darkness to get some shots of the train all lit up from the outside. And this one I think is particularly spectacular, and I also like the way it represents how the railways are having to change with the times to be able to cope with a modern audience. And this I just think is cool. Staying with the theme of being under the cover of darkness, we return to Wolsztyn in Poland, and this photo was taken during my first trip out there when I was experimenting with long exposure photography as a storm rolled in. I was determined that I was going to get a photo of the lightning going off in the back of a shot, and this was the process of 2 hours of just clicking and hoping and setting it off on 30-second exposures. Shortly after taking this exposure, I was hit with a weird sense that I needed to leave. Some kind of primeval urge of danger was approaching and I needed to move. And then as I got closer to the accommodation, I was hit with a sensation that I have never had again, and that was that I needed to run. I have never felt that I needed to run, but I did. I ran as fast as my legs would carry me, got to the accommodation, opened the door, and the heavens opened with the most cataclysmic rain that I have ever encountered. It was the biggest and most intense storm that I'd ever been in, and a few moments ago I'd been stood outside in it with all my expensive camera gear. Returning back to the UK, I'd left home under the cover of darkness and driven for an hour to get this shot of the A4 as it came through the morning mists in early December, and frankly it was well worth getting up for, because the sound as it echoed through the trees was incredible. And staying with the Mainline steam theme, we head up to Scotland to see the Jacobite from the air. The Jacobite is the UK's last regular Mainline steam service. Sometimes when you go and shoot video of railways, everything comes together. You get the light, you get the scenery, and you get the locomotive. And this was one of those, the best I've ever done with the drone. And speaking of sometimes everything just coming together to give you that perfect shot, this is the first picture that I ever got published. This was published in Steam Railway as a full double-page spread, and I don't think I've ever been so proud of myself. This was the last train of the day at the North Norfolk Railway, as it was caught in the amazing light at the end of the day. This one I have printed off rather big and hung up in my office to look back on, as it's one of the best photos I think I've ever taken. I really enjoy playing with the dramatic lighting that you get at the end of the day, particularly doing silhouettes. And many of you will know that many years ago I went to China on a video that I keep promising that I will release on the channel at some point. And here is one of my favourite shots at Fuxin, as the train comes down from the spoil heap, going to load up with more ash to put on the spoil heap, which will make the mountain bigger, where they will extend the railway to make the railway longer, to then dump more ash at the top of the mountain. Returning back to the UK, but staying with silhouettes, is one of my favourite photographs that I have ever taken. This was of the 9F running on the Great Central Railway, where all the conditions just came together. I'd been sat there going, come on, if the train comes now, it's going to make the most incredible photo. And it did. And frankly, I love this. I'm going to get it printed large and have it also in my office because this is the best I think I've ever done. And staying with dramatic lighting, we move on to perhaps the best bit of video that I will ever shoot. This is Sandow Ling in China, a world famous mine where steam carried on into the 2010s. And I was so lucky to be able to get out there and see real working industrial steam, not preserved, doing exactly what it was built to do, pulling coal out of this mine. I am so lucky that I got to go and see this, and this shot really sums up the mood as the sun sets on working steam. And here we are finally at my favourite shot of all time, and this is not one that I actually filmed. I know it's a bit of a cop-out, but this was the moment that I acquired my first locomotive. This is when I got Sir William McAlpine, and that moment that it lifted off the ground to go onto the bed of the High-Hab that I was bringing it home was a moment that I will never forget, and something I don't think I will ever top. My lifelong ambition to own an engine had been completed, and to have bought it from Sir William himself, I don't think I will ever top this moment. And that is one of my all-time favourite shots. I'm genuinely rather chuffed with myself on that one. And so I hope you've enjoyed this dive into the LMM and Beyond archive, looking at some of the best work that I feel I've ever done. I'm sure the more I've actually gone into this, that I would have found more shots and be like, why didn't I put that one in? Because that one's better. But I digress. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have liked some of the still shots, soon they're going to be available on the website for you to purchase and to adorn whatever you want. Maybe they'll look good on a wall, maybe they'll look good over a window, because rather than looking out you could look at a pretty picture of a train or something else. I'm not really sure, but soon they're going to be available so you purchase yourself on print on demand, get them sent out to you in a wide variety of different shapes and sizes and whatnot. So that'll be happening soon, so something to look forward to and enjoy. Let me know in the comments below which ones you'd like to see. And with that, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the filler content. Sorry it's not its normal stuff. Everything should resume next week, probably. Anyway, let me know which one you enjoyed. Did I get my order right? And have you done better? Share on Facebook your better work. Ta-da!